beloved Nalanie. And we could spend the whole evening talking about Nalanie. And I'm sorry that I have only a few moments to simply give a little glimpse of her. And many of you who came with her, there are about 12 people here who know her, had this opportunity to be with her. So I hope I can reflect some of the things that you have been experiencing with her. Today we had an opportunity to have a little lunch with Nalanie, and one of the first things she said, how she's feeling here, is that she feels so much love for us, and that she feels that love from us. And she said, God is love. Love is God. And that is what she epitomizes. She's a symbol, or she is the example of that love, living love. So if I were to just speak about her as a person, as an individual, well, she's just love itself. And we are so honored, privileged, blessed to have Nalanie come and be with us. And one of the person was saying, Nalanie, when you and your group come, this whole positive energy, the ashram gets lifted up. They arrived very late at night. One night, I thought they should be resting the next morning. They were right there at Chidambaram for puja at 8 o'clock. Their devotion and dedication to Sri Gurudev and his teachings, that is Nalanie's, is really boundless. She really has become a real force in our Indigo Yoga Sangha, a true force of love, joy and light and service. Now, not only within Indigo Yoga International, but around the world, because her service reaches out from just not the confine of just Indigo Yoga Sangha, but her love reaches to everyone, as our Gurudev's love was. So, let's see. As Master Shivananda said, faith is as real a force as gravity. And when you are in presence of our beloved Nalanie Ji, you feel that complete, unshakable faith in his teacher, in that teaching, in that divine spirit within us all, so that we ourselves feel that faith, love and dedication. And we can tell the master, the teacher, by the students. These beautiful students you have brought with you, just to have them with us at Chidambaram and chanting and doing puja or just being together. It's just been a wonderful experience in the last 2 weeks. So that was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. In a way, Nalanie Ji is a bhakti, the yoga of the heart, Raja Yoga, the yoga of using the mind, the will, and true Karma Yogi. We'll speak a little more about how she serves selflessly. Hatha Yogi, she is an Indigo Yoga certified teacher and a trainer as well. Japa Yogi, chanting, she's all of this rolled into one, a true integral yogi, as we may call it. So more formally, her activities, all of this love and this faith, it has got to express itself in service to others. So the vehicle through which she serves us, the Indigo Yoga, and the entire world is through Indigo Yoga of Gibraltar, Indigo Yoga Center. She's a chairperson, and she's also a chairperson for service in Sachidananda, which is a non-profit organization created, she's a founder, to reach out to those who are poor, who are needy in so many different areas, as charitable work. So it was created in honor of Sri Swami Sachidananda. It's called Service in Sachidananda, and many of the good people who have come with her are members of it. They go to places like their local places, Spain, Portugal, Romania, Nepal, now Sri Lanka, many beautiful projects that are so inspiring. Maybe she can speak a little more about it. Okay, she's also a teacher trainer. I mean, she has trained so many Hatha Yoga teachers who, some of them are present here. She's also a trained therapist by British School of Yoga. And she goes around, all around Europe and also in US, Hong Kong, very much being asked to come and share the science of yoga, Raja Yoga, meditation, all aspects of the philosophy of yoga as well as Hatha Yoga. She was honored by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's New Year honor list in 2008, I believe. It's recognizing her service to the humanity. In a way, we are looking at an example of what every one of us can become when we give of ourselves. No interruption, please. And again, as you know, she's the most humble teacher to all of these beautiful students. So one of the students said today about her that they feel she's one of the purest instrument of Sri Guru's teachings. And we full-heartedly agree with that. And we really thank you, Nalanie, for coming. And really thank you all for coming. Please give her most warmest welcome.
Thank you, Swami Dayanandaji. You are too kind. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to be here again. Tonight, I'll be talking about this journey through spiritual materialism. Tomorrow, we will all get together, those who have signed in for the program, and we'll have introductions, and I'd like to get to know you. So if that's okay, we'll do that tomorrow morning. And tonight, I'll give a brief idea of what the workshop is going to be about. I think, is it loud enough? Yes? Can you all hear me? Okay, Journey Through Spiritual Materialism. What does it mean? You know, throughout my travels over the years, I visited many centers, integral yoga centers, and all kinds of centers. I traveled a lot with my father to different ashrams. And one thing I noticed in many centers, so many people got involved with the scriptures and involved with the philosophy that they had become so rigid without even seeing it. And I remember my Gurudev's words, a steel cage or a gold cage is still a cage. And as I traveled through these ashrams and these institutions, I was hoping to see, as I did in my father and as I did in my guru, this joyous state. But instead, I saw many people practice austerities in the name of God, in the name of goodness, and they looked absolutely miserable. And at first I thought, you know, there's something I need to learn from this. Maybe I'm too happy. Maybe I'm not doing something right. And then I kept remembering Gurudev's words. Make peace your God. Make peace your God. Do not even allow God to disturb that peace. And when I saw these people with high philosophical intellects and no joy, and when I saw so many people all over the world doing charity and complaining, I could not understand it. As Swamiji said, for me, and I think for all of us, as I have worked with so many human beings over the last 20 years in counseling, we all seek love. We all seek peace. So where did we go wrong in spirituality? Why do we get stuck into rigidity and judgment? Why are we afraid to be different? Why are we afraid to love? Why are we afraid to be laughed at? Real spirituality means no fear. We adjust, adapt, accommodate, says Master Shivananda. But what do we adjust, adapt, and accommodate to or with? Is to others, as each one is a divine being of this light. In the Bhagavad Gita, deep in the hearts of all is the light of all lights. Again and again we are told the light is within us. And again we seem to look at it from some other direction and expecting the light to have one particular form or certain rigid rules. Light is light. When it's really dark, you turn on the light, it lights everything. There are no limits to light. Look at the stars. When we see the stars, how many light years away, and we still see them. Now, today, from so many years ago they traveled. So light has no beginning, no end. And yet when we get into spirituality, and I see so many people getting caught, that I'm now becoming afraid of this spiritual ego. This feeling of condescending to other people, making everybody else feel so small. And this movement that I see all over the world, and may I say with yoga too, that is now becoming so commercial. Where is the love? What is yoga? Union. How can you understand union? Union with what? Our higher self, the peace within, God, Buddha, Jesus, whatever you want to call it. That's the meaning of yoga, union. But where are you uniting? Where does the unification take place? But in our own selves. And we keep looking. We keep looking for somebody to give us this unification. We got a great master. Blessed are we to have such a great soul that walked this earth. For me, he's more than a master, an avatar. Even the way he looked for those who didn't actually meet him in person. How many of you didn't meet him in person? Oh, did not. I said, what a genius. Do you know, and you've fallen in love with him. Isn't that quite something? Isn't that quite something? What is it? What is that makes you fall? What has made you fall in love with him when you haven't met him? I mean, I've met him, and those that met him, we could even see his physical form was different. He was so tall for a South Indian to start with. And if you looked at his hands, you'd never seen so many lines. And when he talked, you could sometimes even see the world in it. And his eyes, just by looking at you, he would transfer this energy. And that was seeing him in his physical form. And for those who haven't, you are truly amazing, because obviously it shows that you recognize the light in you. I remember one time I went to Gurudev and I said to him, "Oh, Gurudev, you are so beautiful." And he said, "That's because you are." It takes one to know one. And I was like, "Ah!" But it made such a great difference to me when he said that to me. It was like, hey, recognize the light in you. And he kept on telling us in Gibraltar so many times, when every time he came and he left and everybody was crying because we didn't want him to leave. And he'd say, love me. Use me as a crutch as long as you like. But remember, look for that guru within you. Let that shine. Because if we just follow the words, we may go the wrong way. And especially if you haven't met him, you may misunderstand from somebody else's point of view, because word of mouth sometimes cannot be accurate. So it is very, very important to understand the essence of the teaching by understanding first that you are light. If you can just understand with your mind intellectually first, then you can make the steps to see that light. It's like if you have a dream in life and you have a goal. If you don't see that goal very clearly, you will never get there. That's why people, oh, maybe, I think I want this, but maybe I want that. But if I go this way, I don't know where it's going to take me. These people will never get anywhere. But if you have a defined goal and you see it so clearly and let nothing waver you, because there will be many obstacles. Because you know, life is this wonderful journey of challenges. And that's what makes it so much fun. If we got there right away, then what do we have to do? Don't you know? We souls asked for this experience. You know, there's a story about this Jewish priest. And this is the way he used to pray to God. He said, God, what would you be without me? Who would pray? You need me. He said, God, and what would I be without you? Who would I pray to? I need you. And by repeating that prayer daily, he was united as one. There was no more separation. You see, the cause for all the trouble that we have is we constantly separating religions, personalities, types. We're always putting people into huge boxes. So in our mind, our perceptions, we're constantly judging. And this is where we get caught in this spiritual materialism. If we can truly understand, like I said, that we are all light, and then find the light within us. Because if we find the light within us and awaken it, then we can awaken it in everybody else. Light attracts light, dark attracts dark. It's just the law of nature. So when we journey through this spiritual journey, it is really important to understand first, number one, why have we come on this road? What are we seeking? Peace. Remember that very clearly. So you come across a philosophy that sometimes in its words seems uncomfortable for you. You must question. And if doubts come in, don't worry about them. It is normal. Don't say, oh no, I must be something wrong with me. Everybody seems to get it, and I don't. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Find out why you don't get it. Maybe this is not your path. Maybe you need another path. I've seen this many times in my life. There are many paths to this divine union, and many maps within our soul. And many times because of our previous lifetimes, we have a different road that is so different from everybody else. But so long as you understand that the goal is there. So then, before you even embark on this journey, see clearly. Let's just close our eyes for a second. Just 1 minute. Ask yourself, is it that I really want when I take this spiritual path? Make it clear. What is it that I really want? Why have I come here? Do I want fame? Do I want recognition? Do I want to be important? What is it that pulls me? Now I want you to visualize a beautiful white light. Just beautiful. And it's sitting in your very own heart. Just feel the warmth. Think about somebody you love. Smile. How does it feel? Where are you feeling the love from? Ask yourself. Is it coming from outside or inside? Open your eyes. See, the love comes from you. If you can experience it, and when it's so soft and gentle, and there's no grasping, and there's no possessiveness, and there's no clinging, and there's no desire behind it, no grabbing, it's so peaceful, is it not? So this bliss, which I believe we all search for in our lives, is really wonderfully quiet. Wonderfully quiet. And that is here. And whenever anything takes you away from this softness, this feeling of divinity, of bliss, then realize that the only thing that takes you away from it is you. Anybody that presents a problem to you is only testing your faith, is only testing your real knowledge. How much faith do you have? And this is why Master Shivananda said, bear insult, bear injury, highest sadhana, highest practice. But how does one bear insult, bear injury? See, many times when we start the spiritual path, we know we have to bear insult and bear injury. Practically, we know it. And then suddenly somebody insults us and we are really upset and we are really angry. And then we go, I'm a good yogi, I'm practicing bear insult, bear injury. And we are burning up inside. And I've seen people do this. Oh, Nalanie, I really have no problem with it. I've been meditating and I'm doing extremely well. And you see the body language is saying something totally different. And they can stay like this for quite a long time. until one day they explode, and they will explode, and I've seen people explode. The real practice of bare insult, bare injury, is not one to do with denial. That is spiritual materialism. It is one to do with total acceptance. And if you cannot bear insult, bear injury, you are far better off to say, I am not strong enough yet, I can't do this, but boy, am I going to beat this. And the practice of yoga is what will help you to learn to bear insult, bear injury. And then you are being totally truthful. And in time, when you are totally truthful, because the essence of this divine bliss is truthfulness itself. Because you are so accepting of what you call your fault, or a gift, I call it. Because every fault that you have for me is a gift. A gift. Every fault that I've had is a gift to me. Has been a gift. Is a gift. Because you know why? Because when you see it, you can correct it. And if you see it really clearly, you can correct it even quicker. Why? Because faults don't make you feel good about yourself. They take you from the place of peace. And for me, that is the universe just loving us to bits, giving us these quick lessons. But these lessons have to be looked at very honestly, very openly, without denial, without blame. Our first tendency is to blame. When we're told we can't blame as well, we don't know what to do with all these emotions that are trapped within us. The only way is constant practice of recognizing the light in you. Gurudev often said, where there's light, even if you ask for darkness, the darkness is not there. Look at this room, I can say, I want it dark, I want it dark, I want it dark. Is it going to be dark? No. So if you can recognize the light in you, then when the darkness comes, you know the light is there, right? There's your call for help. Just as everybody tells us, you cannot put a fire out with another fire, but with water. Internally, we cannot put our negative emotions out with more negative emotions. So denial is another negative emotion. Repression is another negative emotion. The only way we can do it is with the opposite. So if you suffer from jealousy, it closes your, for example, it closes your door to your light. But you know you have a light. And you start to recognize, why am I not feeling this bliss? Why am I not feeling this light? Well, it's very obvious. I have this feeling of jealousy. What do I do with it? How do I work this out? This is where you go for help if you cannot help yourself. In my case, I remember when I first recognized that I had this jealousy thing in me, I got really frightened. And that happened through meditation. Because you know when you meditate, over a period of time, you start to see your thoughts very clearly. And so I could see, oh my God, I thought I wasn't a jealous person. And I realized I was. So what I did was, and where was my jealousy? I just loved intelligence. So anytime I met somebody more intelligent, and of course in life you're going to meet people very intelligent, I would kind of feel this thing, this feeling that would take me away from my peace. Then I realized with meditation, this is called jealousy. What do I do with this? In the past, I would have, I'm not sure about this person, and maybe say something that wasn't so truthful. But after I had started to learn a little bit about, the yamas and niyamas, non-violence, do good, be good, all that kind of stuff, I looked at the jealousy and I said, the only way to get rid of this is to admire the person I'm jealous of, and go and learn from the person that I feel this jealousy towards. And when I just changed the chip in my brain, I just had to do this thing, and that was it. I never felt jealousy again, because I got excited when the feeling of jealousy came up. Oh, it means I really admire this person, so let me go learn from them. Do you see how you can change the chip very easily? You don't fear. You see, what is the problem of all these negative emotions? It's fear. Fear that we are not good enough. But if you start, like I said, from the premise of knowing you are light, then you will always know that of course we are good enough. We've just forgotten. That's all. And why have we forgotten? Because we live in a very material world and a very material society. We live in a world that tells us what we have to do, how we have to think. There was this tourist going through this town, and he tells this guide who takes him through the town, he said, "You're very lucky to live in this town. You have so many churches. So many people must love the Lord." And the guide, who was very cynical, said, "Oh yeah, so many people love the Lord, but boy, do they hate their neighbors." It kind of reminded me many years ago when I went to the Vatican. I love Lord Jesus very much, although I was brought up a Hindu. I went to a Catholic school, and I have this incredible love for Lord Jesus and Mother Mary. So I was longing to go to the Vatican, and my idea was, I want to go there and I want to pray and pray and pray and pray. So I go there, and of course, if anybody's been to Rome, you see lots of tourists. So we had a guide that took us through, and we went through the whole Vatican. And then I said to the guide, "Please take me to a place where I can pray. I've come to the Vatican because I want to pray." And he goes, "You don't pray in here. You want to pray? You go into Rome, into this church that you will find on this street." So don't you know, here we make money. That was my guide. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I see so many times how in the name of God we go so far from God. How did it get there? Why do we accept that? Why do we take things for granted? And this is where we really have to question this meaning of spirituality. What do we want? What is it? What is spirituality? What does it mean? Spirit, something you cannot touch, right? Essence. The yogis call it truth, knowledge, bliss. That's who we are, that essence. That essence that existed everywhere, all the time. What is the Christian prayer or Catholic prayer? Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, and shall ever be. Is that it, Mataji?
It is now, never shall be.
And always shall be. Is now, and always shall be.
World without end.
World without end. Look at that prayer. It is always there. It's never going to end. So Spirit There's no ending. We're immortal. Did you know that? Isn't that great? You never die. When I realized I'm never going to die because, Nalanie's going to die, but that's not a problem. Thank God. Who wants to get so old and decrepit that you can't do anything, you know? That should be a great joy when it comes, you know? So when time is up, time is up. It's only matter. This is only matter. We're really spirit. We're really spirit. And this great spirit was, is, and forever will be. And it separated itself. And for me, I always think, wow, you know, God wanted to know God in all of us. And how do I know that to be true, can be verified? Because there's not one single human being in this world that is identical or thing. Everything has its own essence. Wow, that's pretty incredible. What kind of designer can do that? Billions of designs. Oh my God. So this energy, the spirit, everything exists in it. And what more can we learn in the years to come? For me, this is the path of the spirit, this openness, this excitement, this inspiration. It doesn't lock you in a box. You have to be a certain way. You have to be of a certain type in order to be spiritual. That's a lot of nonsense. I have met some of the most eccentric people in the world, and yet the most loving and the most spiritual. And everything, every belief system I've had in the last 20 years have come crashing down, and I am so grateful. Because the mind was so small that it could not grasp the real meaning of everything. We can never grasp it with this body and this mind. All we can do is experience. That we can do, and that is the gift of light in us. That gift of experience. Because as this Jewish prayer said, this priest who prayed said, God needs us and we need God. There's no communion otherwise. It was everything anyway. And this is why when we learn to respect each personality, each way of being, each culture for what it is, then everything else comes in. The peace, the love, the harmony, the understanding, the courage, the strength. We become then warriors of light. In a sense of the way we are warriors are in our faith, in our energy, in our substance of who we are. And the only way we can be warriors is to practice within ourselves, to be strong, to fight for that light. Because if we live in a world of such dense materialism, and right at this time of our being, which is so exciting, we have the darkest darks on our earth plane. Have you seen so many things that are happening? It's quite exciting. Because where you have the darkest shadows, you also have the brightest lights, right? So we have the brightest lights shining. And it is up to us now to knock down all these barriers of judgment, to work together in real spirituality, which means we came from that same one. And the only way we can do this is to build a force of faith and love within us. So rather than living in a society that's constantly telling us to look for our faults, I have realized we should now change this. We need to change the tide of things. And we need to see that which is the brightest in us. And by working on the brightest with us, instead of wasting all this energy, I have low self-esteem, I'm not good enough, I'll never amount to anything, I work so hard I never get anywhere. You may work, I work hard, at least I have the courage to work hard. One day I'll get there. And that's the spirit that we need to bring to this world now. It is a duty for all of us on this path. We need to brighten this light, and we can only do it by brightening ourselves. and not falling into the traps of superiority. We all come from the same stuff. We are all going back to the same stuff. Then there are those great souls that vibrate on such a high atomic energy field that we can't even understand. And one is, as I said already, Swami Satchidananda. And this is why a soul like that, or a Buddha, or Jesus, even 2,000 years later, that energy is still working because it never dies. And because there is a connection, a constant connection with each and every single one of us. And what greater gift is there than that in this world? Just to know that, and then to constantly get online instead of with a computer, with that one. The mega computer. Look what it's created. This computer can only create certain things. But that computer, connect to that. And we have everything in us to connect. The way forward is simply keep it simple. See your own light. And when you work constantly on that which is good in you, then there is no space for the shadows. And when they occasionally turn up, the light is so bright that they'll be frightened away. Haven't you seen with children that are naughty? Use reverse psychology. It always works. And with ourselves, we should use reverse psychology too. We're always breaking our head. Oh, I meditate, and Nalanie, I can't focus. I've been doing it for so many years. Da-da. What are you trying to focus on? It seems like you're focusing on stress, anger issues. You know, I learned one of my greatest lessons on spiritual, what I call materialism, when I first started to meditate. I had a lady come into I used to work in a shop in those days, and she came in to see me, and she goes, Nalanie, what are you doing? You've changed so much. And I go, well, I've just taken a guru this last year, and I've been meditating every day. And she goes, just for a year? And I go, yeah. So I've been meditating for 18 years, and I'm still always depressed. So I was quite surprised. 18 years, and I go, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, Maybe I'm in the wrong path. And then I sat down and I was very curious. So I said, okay, what happens when you meditate? And then she told me, she said, I sit down and I try to meditate. And then I think, my life, I never have any freedom because I'm always looking after, my parents are old, and then I'm looking, my in-laws are old, and I've got this problem and that problem. And I stopped her there and I said, you've been meditating on your problems and your depression all the time. So of course what has happened? She magnified it and got depressed. So I learned a great lesson from her. And many times over the years, when I've had dark periods in my life, as we all do, I remember her story. And when I sit for meditation, I hear those thoughts of sorrow or self-pity or whatever, or grieving come up. I go, everything has a certain amount of time that you need to work with. Anything over that amount of time is really a feeling of too much self-pity or huge ego. So stop the nonsense, Nalanie. Stop the nonsense. Our bodies have to grieve when we go through difficult things. But over-grieving is not necessary. And then I see people who starve themselves in the name of God to get realized. And that is also not necessary. So what is necessary? You tell me. What is necessary?
Self-love, give.
Meditate? How do you meditate? How do you meditate? The moment the stress comes up, that's where the mistake starts, right? You are not meditating. Better to stop, listen to some really pretty music that elevates you, lightens you, and then relaxes you, bring the peace back, and then meditate. Have you understood? Don't get caught up in those thoughts and then say you're meditating, you're stressing, you're fighting, you're arguing. Learn to concentrate first, as the Yoga Sutras tell us. So what do you learn first? Serve, love, give, purify. So in order to meditate properly, you cannot do it with philosophy. It doesn't work. You can think all the things. I know the right thing. Sit here, do Kapalabhati, do this, do this, do this. And the moment you stop doing all the breathing, it starts again. So you introduce to your daily living the real meaning of spirituality. You are my sister. You are my brother. I'm aware. I'm aware of you. I'm aware. What you feel is what I feel. And then in that service, just that alone, when you sit down to meditate, this feeling of self-indulgence, of self-pity will not have any room. Because the joy of awareness, the joy of seeing light in somebody else, is what will uplift you anyway. You know, many years ago I was asked to speak. I think, how's my time? Is it
You've got to be close.
I'm okay for time? I was asked to speak at a school. So I went, there were 7 and 8 year olds. And I went in and I was talking to them and I said, tell me, what makes you happy? And one of the little boys said, oh, I love Christmas. And then everybody goes, oh, yes, we love Christmas. So I said, what do you love about Christmas? Oh, children, we love presents. We all love receiving our presents, right? So then one little girl said, then I said, and what about giving presents? Do you give presents? And one little girl stood up and she goes, I love giving presents, ma'am. I gave my mother a lipstick last year and she was so happy. So I go, what made you happier? Giving your mother a present or getting your present? And she said, oh, seeing mommy smile. Seeing mommy smile. We truly love to give. But nowadays, children are taught, don't give. Make more money, go to school, make a lot of money, and then you'll be happy. Get a lot of degrees, get a lot of diplomas, and you will be happy. Don't give. Why do you want to give? Save it for you. I bought you those crisps. Don't share it with anybody else. Do you know how many hours it takes me to earn this money to give you this? And this is what we're teaching our children. And I see it all the time. This selfishness. How can there be joy? Why are there so many psychological problems? All based on selfishness. It is not our nature. We are meant to be all one. We are all meant to be sharing and loving and caring. It makes us feel good. But we've forgotten. So we close our heart up. We close our souls up. When we do this, it's mine. Look at that movement. It's mine. Look what it does to you. You close yourself up. If you close yourself up, you make yourself small. You make yourself small. The energy of the Spirit, it goes small as well, because the energy of the Spirit is everywhere. And what is that energy but love? That unconditional love that is knowing we are all one, inseparable. It's huge, it's gigantic. It's with us all the time. It never leaves us. We are so loved. We have to now start to recognize how loved we are, how joyful we really are. Why are we always searching for problems? Why are we always complaining? Why are we always looking in those directions when there is so much abundance everywhere? And that is the Spirit understanding abundance. Look around you. Just walk out of this door. Look at those trees. Look at those smiles. Look at this place. We're in heaven. Why is hell existing in some minds? What's going wrong? Expectation, expectation. I need, I want. Total focus on the self. That takes us away from the Spirit. It's when you hear those words, I, me, and mine, you're in big trouble. And you've caused it. Nobody else has done it to you but yourself. Because at all times, you are loved. So loved. And you know, one of the, how do we know this? How do we know we are so loved? Look at our lives. How many problems have all of us had throughout our lives? And each time we've come through. We've come through. Isn't that in itself a miracle? We've come through. And all we have to do is ask. And I love this from the Bible, from the New Testament. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened. Asking is wonderful. Ask. Ask every morning when you pray or when you meditate. Instead of having all this thing in your mind, I have to meditate, I have to keep the mind quiet. You know, what did Ramakrishna tell one of his disciples? Do you want to keep your mind quiet? You might as well take a stick and hit your head. Don't keep quiet. You'll be comatized, you know. So, ask for that beautiful peace. Ask, as St. Francis said, to be an instrument of peace. Ask that you recognize your human mission. Ask that you become a blessing on this earth. Ask that you share this beautiful knowledge. Ask that you can make one person smile today. Ask. That's all you have to do in your prayer. And the meditation, 15 minutes just doing all that asking is already quiet the mind. And then after that, it goes into silence. Because why? That is the essence of the Spirit. And Spirit will attract Spirit. It's all scientific. And this is so wonderful. Because it's all a science. We are all made up of atoms. Cells, atoms. I don't know how we see ourselves as bodies sometimes. Because really we're just a mixture of energy levels. And the more we practice service, loving, giving, the more the energy field will grow. The body size will remain the same, but the energy size will grow. Why? Simply because you're becoming more into Spirit. There's no hocus pocus or magic. It is truth, knowledge, bliss, absolute. It is. So when you become it is instead of I am, you join with it is. And then the I am is only to be used as an instrument through this journey that we call our lives, which are so short. Life is so short, you know that? Some of you who are very young may think I've got so many years ahead. So short. Ask some of us who remember when we were 12 or 13 and suddenly we're 57. How did I get here, you know? Where did it go? So this journey with the Spirit, don't waste time. We have no time to waste. Grab every opportunity. Grab every opportunity to serve, to love, to care, to be kind. I guarantee you will be hurt. I can guarantee you will suffer. But it's okay, it's worth it. Because ultimately you'll get the gift of bearing insult and bearing injury. You'll have so much practice. But I also will guarantee that you will become strong. When you fight for that spirit inside of you, when you do not give the permission to anyone to make you a victim, anyone, you don't have the right to be a victim. We were born, as Master Chinmayananda said, to be gods. First, we go from the stage of man and woman, and then to Superman and Superwoman, and then to unite with the divine. And he calls it our swadharma, our spiritual duty. It's not even something you should think of doing. It is your duty to do while you have a human body. So don't waste time being sad. We cannot change the past. We can forgive painful moments. We can never change them. We can accept and move forward because we have now. We have this moment. And if we waste this moment, it cannot come back again. Nobody can bring it back for us. It's our moment. It's our time to unite. So take every second if you can. Every time you breathe, every time a thought comes in, stop to smile at it. It brings you back in. Stop. Just listen to your thoughts. Listen to what's going on. And if it's not very nice, laugh. Oh my goodness. I didn't know I could think like this. And laugh. Don't give it energy. Don't give it substance. The mind is like a mirror. It will have those thoughts. It's part of the mind. It will have for the rest of our lives beautiful thoughts and ugly thoughts. It's what we do with them. We can let them come and go. That's it. Have fun with them. Having a bad thought doesn't make you bad. It only makes you bad if you grasp onto it and you do something with it. But if it comes and it goes, it doesn't make you bad or good. I'll finish off with a lovely story that, so simple but so truthful. There was this very wise philosopher who lived in the East. And everybody used to come to him. One day, one of his students came to him and said, I'm going to leave you because I have found a Buddhist monk and I am getting so much from him. But I would love you to meet him. So this master was very intrigued because so far he was the only master in that area that everybody would respect and come to. So he says, oh, I want to meet your friend, the Buddhist priest. So he goes with him. He meets this priest, and the priest is sitting down happily. And he goes, priest, I want you to teach me something. My student says that you're one of the wisest persons in this land. So the priest looks at this philosopher and goes, do good, be good. And the philosopher starts laughing. Ha ha ha. This is simple philosophy. Who doesn't even know that philosophy? Even the children in kindergarten know do good and be good. And the monk goes, yes, you know it. Are you living it? And Gurudev, I remember he told me a story once. He said he was in India many, many years ago, and he had 2 American disciples with him. He took them to India, and he stayed at this Indian woman's house. And the woman came up to Gurudev, Gurudev, what kind of disciples you have? You bring them here to India, they don't know anything about the Bhagavad Gita. I've been asking them questions, they know nothing. And he looks at this Indian woman and says, ah, but they live it. They live it. It's not what we know. It's who we are and what we are. It's what we give to our world. It's how we walk on this earth, on this planet. We have a job to do. So we need to stop being so pathetic, oversensitive, over-emotional, and become more realistic with our time frame. It's so incredible that we have a human body. Let us not waste our time. And today I was telling somebody about sleeping. I don't know who I was talking to. Was it you, Mataji? I'm not sure. But a few years ago, in my household in Hong Kong, we have a temple. And we live in a joint family system. And everybody, one person every day goes down and do the puja every morning at 6 o'clock and dress all the gods with flowers, as you do in Chidambaram here every morning. So all the women of the house take turns. And it happened to be my mother's turn the next day. We'd just come back from dinner, and she goes, my back is hurting, I'm not so well, I'm tired. I'll call my other sister-in-law and ask her, would she like to do the prayer for me tomorrow morning? And I go, yeah, Mom, you look tired, why don't you call her? So she calls her, and her sister-in-law says, no problem. Anyway, 5 minutes later, my mother screams out, Nalanie, come right now to my room. So I'm running, Mom, what's wrong? She'd open a prayer book, an Indian prayer book, and the first thing she read was, sleep? Why do you want to sleep? Don't you know there's plenty of time to sleep when you die? If you want to find God, do it now. And I never forget that. And she calls up her sister-in-law saying, I'm going down tomorrow. Backache? Gone. And it just, sleep. Why do you want to sleep? My time is short. We make many excuses. Don't make any excuses. You only hurt yourself in the end. We benefit by our good thoughts. Everything we do benefits us. Actually, spirituality is an extremely selfish road. It really is extremely selfish. Because it makes you so happy. Why would you want to do anything else? Nothing else has that magic. And then that's just the beginning. The feeling of peace and belonging. When you follow the path of truth, the only the beginning. Then the magic starts to work. And then you see things that you've never seen before. And you go, how did I miss this? Because we got so wrapped up in materialism. What people say, what others think, what we should be, what we should look like to others. Doesn't really matter in the long run. Really, what is important is the value you put to your human life. And then when you reach your deathbed, to say, my Father in heaven or Mother, whoever you are, I live to my fullest. I live to my fullest, what I am capable of. And go with that sense of peace. And this is our journey through life. We can make it a heaven, we can make it a hell. Let's choose heaven, yeah? So, thank you very much, everyone. Some of you are looking extremely tired, jet lag coming from Europe. And I look so forward to seeing you tomorrow. We have a few guest speakers on this retreat. We've got Mataji, we have Premanjali, we have Swami Dayananda, and we have Ganesh. They will all be speaking to us, so I'm really excited. Thank you for agreeing to be our guest speakers. I see all these souls as really living the light, being the light, and how we are all so different. And yet, the light is there, and that's what makes life so much fun. That each in our own way is in touch with God, each in our own way. How different we are in our ways of being in touch. So I just thought it would be really interesting to hear them speak. So thank you very much. It's wonderful to see some of you again after last year. It's great to see you. And tomorrow we'll have a little chat before I start the talk. I hope the people who've signed in for the program have no objections, because I've asked everybody else that if they want, they can come in to any of the talks. Why not share, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
Let's just make it available to all. And thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for coming and sharing the evening together. So what else will we do? Sleep? Some of you really need to do that now, though.